is that the screen was dramatically improved here. And let me just log on to Vista here. And close this window here. And so within Vista, we ship with both Vista or Windows XP, depending on what you want. But what you're going to see is one of the brightest and most vivid transreflective displays that you see out there. So this can be seen as easily indoors in the light that we have here, which is actually not the best lighting conditions, as you can tell, as well as outside. So it's just a stunning display, and one that we're really proud of. Great color, great depth of color, great resolution, and
so sharp. It almost looks
exactly really sharp.
It almost looks like a dummy, you know, like a product.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, we get that a lot actually. And so the first thing was to make sure that, you know, listen, you're in this environment, you ought to be able to see it and display it where you have. Second thing is, when people are scrolling around on the screen, we wanted to give them the ability to scroll very quickly. So certainly we have the trackpad that we had installed in the first unit, and we have a trackpad there and the mouse buttons. But we've added what we call touch scrollers. And these are just exactly the same as you find in sort of kind of what an iPod would have for navigating their screen.
Similar to the HTX Caliber.
Exactly, and it allows you to scroll up and down, right and left inside of a window with these types of things. So the screen was a huge benefit as we kind of move forward here. The second area, and you've already started looking at it here, is on the keyboard. Some people loved the 01 Plus keyboard. Others had challenges with it. They either had larger fingers or they had fingernails. A lot of our users are female, and what we found is that people preferred a little bit more of a tactile feel. So we did a lot of testing with the keyboard, and this is what we came up with. We think we have a great example here. Not only is it much more typable, and you do get an actual feedback as you're typing on that keyboard, but we also made room for a numeric keypad. Again, a lot of people are enterprise users that use the OQO, and so being able to have that numeric input is a very big benefit. And then you'll also see that I can go, it's hard to see in this light, but I can go ahead down here and hit the keyboard key here, and what we've done is turned on backlighting. So again, if you really believe the statement that we're about anytime anywhere computing, that also means when it's dark.
The first one didn't have backlight on
it. It didn't have backlight, and we certainly had some people that and there's an automatic sensor. You can turn it on manually, or there's an automatic sensor so that if it senses that it's dark, it'll go ahead and do that as you go through this.
Tell me on the keys, what is the imprinting on it? Is it burnt in, or is it going to wear off?
It's not going to wear off. It's built in there. Everything on this unit, including that how we do our printing on the keys, how the slide mechanism works with the screen, are cycle tested. We use sort of robotics to cycle test all this kind of stuff, and we know that this is going to be a device that's out, it's mobile, it's going to be in the field, it's going to be used, and we try to build it to the highest amounts of quality and reliability.
4 foot a few times.
Yeah, and listen, we do that. Now that's one interesting feature. I probably would have left it before, but we actually have built in an accelerometer inside of here, so it actually senses if it's dropped. So
shut down the.
And if you listen close. It'll actually give us a little bit of a scream there.
That's nice.
And you can see that our LED turned to red, and a little icon come up on the Windows screen, pauses the hard drive, parks the hard drive, pauses Windows until it senses that it's gotten back into a stable environment, and then it's there. So again, it's all about the sort of ease of use and ergonomics of the design that we want to
I'm not the average gadget user, but I don't baby my devices. I don't use screen protectors. I don't use cases. I slap stuff in my pocket.
Yeah.
It falls down 5 times a week.
Right.
You know.
Do you have a USB key?
I don't have one on me.
You should get some. I was going to say that we have a really fun video of this.
Doing that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a small.
I'll bring it to me.
Yeah, I can. I'm having a hard time getting connection here.
I don't have one here with me today.
I saw one
at the Microsoft site. So it's a cradle-based design with an articulating arm that folds down, so it's very portable if you want to use it when it's portable. But when it's up, then you slide the unit in. We have our docking connector on here, and it docks into that connector. And once it does that, you have access to a DVD, a slot loading DVD, CD rewrite player down below, and then it has additional ports. So it has a additional USB port on the front, 2 USB ports on the back, and an HDMI video as well as a VGA video coming out the back. I'll talk some more about that in a bit.
I could see the use for that right now in my own life.
Yeah, it's a great thing, you know, and you can go ahead, and they're not terribly expensive. So if you had one at work and one at home, it makes for a very easy transportation. Or if you just want to fold it down and take it home with you, that works as well.
Basic retail on the actual device is what, $14.99?
$14.99 at the entry level configuration, and you can configure it all the way up to about $2,000.
Okay.
You know, you'd be hard pressed to spend much more than that on the device, though. So that was the first area, all about ergonomics, all about ease of use, and how we get to that. The second area that we listened to the customers around was just what I would call sort of broadly performance-based features within the unit. So first, we built it around a brand new processing core, 1.5 gigahertz VIA-based processor.
Like the UMPCs.
Yes, exactly. So the best performance up to 1.5 gigahertz. So great performance on that. It runs 5 to 6 times faster than the original OQOs. So just to give you a sense of the experience, very, very compelling. Secondly, it has up to 1 gigabyte of RAM as well. You can get it with a 512 megabyte configuration or 1 gigabyte configuration. And we've increased the hard drive sizes, so 30 to 60 gigabytes of hard drive size inside of this. But the hard drive's still using the 1.8-inch technology, but we now have gone to a dual platter design. So we stay at the leading edge of the hard drive technology. You know, we have various vendors on the hard drive.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
have y'all considered a flash base?
You know, we've thought about it. At this point, we just think that spinning media still seems to be the sweet spot of what it is. You know, as this does increase the ability to do some more instant-on things, I think it'll be things we might look at in the future. But right now, I think for what we're doing, the hard drives work great for us and do a great job.
Well, what about what y'all took out of it?
And that's the next thing, right? So people did talk about that. We have vents built into this, and it runs about 2x cooler than the original one. The original one was not at all dangerous or a safety concern, but some people did find it was warm to the touch. So I've been running this all morning. You certainly can feel it. It's dramatically different than we had in the first one. Again, I think it was nothing more than an aesthetic issue, but it's an important one to some people. And again, we want to listen across the board to these kinds of things and do that. We did this with adaptive fan technology, better heat pipes built into it, and so it removes the heat. And to be honest, also, you know, some of the newer parts are just better, lower power, so they're better cooling device. So we talked a little bit about the RAM, the hard drive, the processor. We also have a new embedded graphics chip inside of this that gives us much better graphics performance, accelerated graphics performance.
Well, the resolution real nice.
Yeah, the resolution certainly on the built-in display is great. But in addition to that, we also have the ability now to have native HDMI out. And so we come with
is it a true HD signal? 1080p or 720?
No, it is the resolution that you choose to set it up out of the box. So it is more computer-based resolutions.
Okay.
But you can have it drive up to a very large display, 1924-inch display straight off this. In fact,
is audio included?
No, we do not drive audio through this. It is just a video-based adapter, so we do have that. So you have a great ability then to drive multiple resolutions off of this. Now, what's nice about this is that the graphics subsystem also allows you to drive multiple displays. So when you have, for example, the dock here with the VGA display and an HDMI connector, you can drive both at the same time. And so have both screens running in dual mode up to 1900 by 1200 resolution. So very, very high resolution on these displays. And we know of no other sort of UMPC or UMPC Pro that has the ability to kind of do that built into it. Then with ports, I mentioned the HDMI. We have a USB 2.0 port built into the unit as well, so you don't have to go ahead and have any dangling cables for that. And then our docking and power connector, as I mentioned before. So we have a bunch Kensington security lock on the side. So if you do need to secure the unit, you have that. So again, across the board, we really looked at sort of processing power and make this experience just one that, again, as much as possible, no compromises PC as you went through this. So the final area that we worked a lot on was the area of communications. In the first unit, we had Wi-Fi, 802.11a and b. And some people were worried about the performance of that and the range that they got here. So we've redesigned the entire Wi-Fi architecture in this unit. We now offer 802.11a, b, and g.
No
and
no in though.
no in this. Yeah,
But that's cool. G's great. G's great.
G works great, and the performance of it is great. I mean, the ability to sense networks, it's just dramatically different than what we've had in the past, and one of the best portable experiences I've had, actually, even though it's a very small form factor. Secondly, we've upgraded the Bluetooth functionality as well. We have full Bluetooth 2.0 profiles built into this.
82p.
Yes, exactly. And so, including the stereo headsets capability, so you can listen to your music in full stereo if you'd like to. If you want to run Skype on that earpiece, works great on this, no problem. So you have that ability to do this on here too. And then the sort of pièce de résistance was to add EVDO functionality as well. So there's an EVDO module that you can get with the unit.
Is that optional?
It is optional.
In addition to the Fort. Okay.
Yeah, so it's about $149 at retail, and so
can you use that on Sprint and Verizon?
Day one it is Sprint. Obviously, we'll continue working with other carriers for certification. Not necessarily. I can't make any pre-announcements, but we're busily working on that.
Well, yeah, Sprint's good, but in my area, Sprint's not. Every carrier is good and bad in different cities.
Absolutely,
so.
yeah. But Sprint, I got to tell you, they've been a great partner, and we hope to work with a lot more carriers as well.
Nice.
So it has built-in antennas for all of these things. If you do get to a sort of network challenge zone, as we like to say, we have a whip antenna that's built into it, and so you can bring the whip antenna out. It disables the internal antenna, so you don't get any interface. You get additional attenuation because of that antenna.
I mean, how big of a difference does that antenna make?
You know, it does make a difference. I don't. To be honest with you, I haven't had to use it much here in Las Vegas. They have really great coverage on Sprint.
When you can use it.
But you know, at home, I've noticed a little bit better. But for the vast majority of the time, I have to say,
it's not game breaking.
You know, if in some places it's the only it could be, right? It'll be the way that you'll do it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have put it in there.
Right,
so
I understand.
there are places that it definitely does matter. I don't want to fool you. And so on communications, again, across the board, sort of an upgraded and a big change on what we've been able to do here. Then the last thing, we have obviously gone to a whole set of new battery technologies in this. So what you're seeing on this unit is the standard battery. And with this, you get between, up to about 3 hours on this. Obviously, that's dependent on how many radios you have running at any given time and all the other functionality.
What's the worst time you've experienced?
With all the radios running and everything, I think it's a little over 2 hours.
2 hours.
Now, that's with the standard battery. The issue is that we also have the ability to come with an extended battery, which gives you, it works basically linearly. And so you get about 2x the capability. So there you can be anywhere between 4 and 6 hours with the 2x battery. So
how much thicker is it?
It's about an eighth of an inch thick. It's very tiny.
That's not bad
It's not
at
too
all.
bad at all. It's a great. Some people don't even notice it when you have it on. Actually, it does add a little bit of weight. The weight of the device hasn't changed dramatically. We still fit at exactly 1 pound here. So again, for our form factor, it's exactly what we really wanted to try to do here. And we have added a bunch of other software features, and I'm just going to boot this into XP, and I can give you a demonstration of some of those. I think what we try to do is we try to layer a set of software on top of Windows, either XP or Vista, that make the device and the experience that much more easy to use. And so, for example, what we've done here on top, and then give you easy access to them on the keyboard too. So I showed you the backlighting before. We go ahead and start this XP. I set up the dual boot here. But we have a number of other keys that we've added directly onto the keyboard here. One is direct access to the radios. So if I click that button, it'll tell me which radios are enabled at that point in time, whether the Bluetooth radio is on, the Wi-Fi radio is on, or the WWAN radio.
It's the small box that pops up in the middle.
Small
and
box.
you can click on it.
Exactly, and I'll show it to you in a second as soon as we get up
great.
here in XP. And then it also has an airplane mode that you can put it in as well, so that if you are on a plane, you want to watch a movie, or you want to do a little bit of work, you can go ahead and just turn off, and what it does, automatically turns off all the radios for you, and you can do that. So go ahead and finish this booting here.
Y'all done any battery tests with just using it with no radios as like a PMP?
Yeah, I mean, at that kind of level, I think you're going to approach up to 3 hours. You're going to be close to the 3 hour mark on this, right? So I'll go ahead and hit that so you can see what that looks like when it comes up. So you can see we have 3 different radios here. We've got the broadband. There's the airplane mode down below. So those are kind of what comes up there. Now what we've also done is we've added a zoom mode into this. So I hit one of the zoom keys and I can zoom in. And you can see now once I'm zoomed in, but unlike a lot of the other sort of UMPCs that are out there, this is fully active while we're in zoom mode. So you can actually scroll around the screen, you can actually work in this mode if you want to. There's actually a second level, I just zoomed in the second level. Now when I zoom out, obviously I can go out all the way to our native resolution, which is 800 by 480. But when I zoom out again, we then use software interpolation, and we go up to 1000 by 600. And there you get a much bigger display, and then if I hit it again, we can go all the way up to 1200 by 720. And
Very
so
nice.
you can go ahead. So if you have a website that you need to see the full screen, or you're a doctor and you need to look at an X-ray and see the full X-ray in context, or whatever it may be, you can go ahead and do that here again directly from the keyboard. So we think that's again a lot of added value that you get right out of the box when you kind of come into this. So you know. And sort of bringing it back together, the screen functionality really much brighter, ergonomics much different. We still have the active pen input, so with the pen you can go ahead and do all this, get the full origami experience within Windows Vista, and be able to do.
So that's actually a digitizer. And
it is a
not straight-
digitizer. It's not a touch screen. That is correct. Yes.
Which I had the earlier tablets. I just found it unnatural feeling the digitizer. It's gotten better. The technology's gotten a lot better.
And it takes some getting used to, especially if you're used to sort of a palm or true touchscreen.
I'm a pocket PC.
Yeah, pocket PC kind of thing. Yeah. So. Anyway, so what we've been able to do here, I think, is sort of in a dramatically small package, respond to almost everything our users ask for and more. And then I think what we're sort of committed to do in the industry here is lead the industry as well. We want to be, there's just not enough innovation going on in the PC industry. There's other companies that innovate a lot, and we think we can bring innovation back to the PC side of the fence. And we think the Model O2 does that and really delivers, what I talked about, which is anytime, anywhere computing.